Hey guys, it's Bob with HetteshWorld. I just wanted to show you what we got going on today. I was battling with some birds that were trying to build some nest in my AC units here up in northern Ohio. So I got up on the ladder yesterday and I'll show you what happened. All right, we're gonna go up the real ladder, not the RV ladder. As you can see right there, I was going up the ladder. We normally have our weather station up here, and I always have to go to the one side to get up. And when I leaned over, it bent this ladder. And the birds were building a nest right in there. And this is where it actually broke away from the roof here. And I put some tape on it last night just in case we got any rain. But now I got to figure out how I'm going to reinforce this. I kind of got it worked out in my head what I'm going to do. These ladders pretty much are only supposed to be for 200 pounds, and I'm way less than 200 pounds. But when you lean to one side, I guess it makes them pretty fragile. We're going to start with removing some of this Dicor from this bracket up here so I can see how this is actually, I can see it's got a bracket just like the lower section. I'm just going to see if I can get this Dicor up with some heat gun. Using like a little body putty tool. Little heat works real well. Getting the Dicor off of here. This does have the typical square screws. Of course, they put them in on a rear angle. One thing you learn real quick about an RV, it's built by humans, not robots. I think our bracket can be reused. It's just going to need some re-securing with some other screws. Once I get to the hardware store, we'll find out what we need. We'll get this thing fixed up. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extend out our weather station. I'm going to extend it out because it always got in the walkway of coming up this ladder. So I'm going to extend it out here to the left a little bit. And I know the ladders, they're strictly for service. They're not really to be made to go up and down every day. I rarely come up here because when I put my weather station up, it takes 5 seconds to put that back up, but I never have to go all the way up the ladder. So one thing I want to let you know, if you hadn't noticed, this how thin these ladders are. This is a really thin aluminum ladder. This is a piece of 1/2 inch rigid conduit. And as you can see, it's going to fit. It's going to fit right down inside there. Slide on down. I'll slide these together. I'll run some screws into this bracket here to support it. And then I'll put this ladder back in its place. This ladder rung here will go back into its place. And then on the weather station, because I am going to move it outward, but I'm going to move it into the inside. So we all know going down the road, we don't want anything hanging out beyond the camper. So I'm going to bring it in here about 6 inches and bring it down through here. And that will allow me to go up the ladder without being impeded by the weather station. I did want to show you this one thing here on the bracket that goes on the rooftop. It's actually got a screw. It's anchored up inside there, so you can actually tighten that up, and that'll allow that bracket to adhere back to the roof tight once I put the screws back in it. And then I'll put the Dicor sealant around it to make sure we don't get any roof leaks. I'm going to run a couple screws, 1, 2, to make sure this doesn't come apart, and this ladder is going to come back up and it's going to get its bracket back on there. to hold that thing in place. So it should look pretty much like nothing happened, which that's what you try to do if you're doing repair. Sometimes it's impossible, but on this it looks like it's going to work out very well. All right, we're going to pre-drill this for our self-drilling screws. This is all that holds that ladder in place, that thin metal. So one little tiny self-drilling screw. Now we're going to run these in. Remember, these are going through the electrical conduit, 1/2-inch conduit. So the conduit, that electrical conduit's up inside here, and I put these screws in here to hold that in place. Of course, that's our ladder step, and that's going through the conduit, so that step's probably, that's stronger than any of the other steps. And then these 2 screws down here to help support it. Then all I have to do is get my Dicor out and get that anchored in back in place. This Dicor cleaner gets the surface prepared for the actual Dicor sealant. So I'm just going to kind of clean this area up a little bit here. I got most of it off of here. It's all going to get covered up. If you ever use Dicor, it's self-leveling, and it pretty much will flow, and it's going to cover this up. We're going to get this sealed in here. I'm going to kind of go in some new holes just off center a little bit on these other holes, so we don't have to worry about it biting on this plywood, this roof. I'm going to put a little Dicor down below. I just buy this Dicor on Amazon. Good to keep some of that around. Also some tape in case you hit a branch or something. We'll put some down here below. This will ooze out when we run these screws in, and then we'll get the outside. If you ever run up on an RV roof, they're not very pretty, especially if they've been a couple years old. After you even happen to check your sealant. At least twice a year you want to check your rooftop to make sure that nothing's not sealed no more. Yeah, RV roofs are no means a residential roof. They crazy with all the sealants and stuff that we use to keep them from leaking. There's no way to really make it look pretty because this stuff is self-leveling, and it will find its level, and sometimes it's not exactly where you want it to go. As you can see from this side over here, that's the factory when the camper was built. I have went around a couple times and filled some spots that would look like they might be compromised. The last thing you want to do on a camper is have a roof leak. So all I do is load it up pretty heavy and let it find its level. I'll come back up here later today and check it and see how it formed up. If I have to add any to it, it's easy just to go back over top of it. I'm going to show you the finished product here. Walk you through it real quick. This is what started all, was the ladder broke right here, and it broke loose on the rooftop. But this is where I moved our weather station. so it's offset to the campside instead of being hanging out. Even though I created the project by chasing some birds out of our air conditioner and leaning against that thin aluminum ladder, it caused it to crack. So that's our repair, and also relocating that weather station off to the side, so hopefully we won't be in balance when we climb the ladder to set it up every time we move to another camp.
So we hope that you like, subscribe, smash up that notification bell, comment.
Give us a thumbs up. We want the thumbs up.
So remember, we're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our world.
Bye.